Welcome back, everyone, to Pathologic. Now, I imagine we could start a fight and try to break through, but that is probably a very bad idea. Now, in order for us to get into Isidore's home, we need to go to the Rod, ostensibly, to speak to the Sabarovs, I believe it was. So, we'll go do that. I don't know why we get a little bit of money here and there. Presumably it's money people have dropped? Okay, so there are different stores, but they sell different things. Apparently the bull's head is provisions. So I'm guessing the pants are like clothing. Oh, whoopsie daisy, I did not mean to buy any kerosene. Sewing needle. Okay. So it's not exactly... No, did I sell anything? I don't believe so. Just move some things around a little bit. Did I check these trash cans? What year is it? God damn, okay, time moves fast in this fucking game. Oh, can we get medical supplies here? Yo, man, what up? What you got? Tourniquets, Meridorms, painkiller, alpha tablets, an updated immunity booster, only useful in very large doses that cause serious health damage. Okay. Oh, that's a lot of money. Solar protective gloves. I really don't want to do that. Sell some bullets. I really don't want to do that either. Can I sell the watch? Nah. 18 rubles, I assume. Okay, there is a way in over there. You know what's gonna kill me in this fucking game? These goddamn fences. That's what's gonna kill me. I'm gonna get caught between the rock and a hard place. Oh, hey man. Why do you have a throne?
I've got a firm hand.
That's an interesting greeting. So I finally get to see you. Yes, you really do look like a messenger of sorrowful times. In any case, welcome to the Rod. Our meeting is quite significant in a way. Facing the changes with open eyes and taking their first blow is my duty. Do you think we're on the verge of an especially unhappy era? No grim events have clouded our existence since last summer. The country has cured its war wounds. Commercial communications have been repaired. Astrologists expect nothing ill. Do you hold astrologists' opinions in high regard? Sometimes I have to. Sometimes I have to. Are you an astrologist? I am a ruler. Astrology can be very curious, but I cannot allow it to influence my decisions. I have to act according to factual circumstances. Would you agree? Definitely.
The outcome was to be expected, I'm afraid. Simon was doomed.
So you've come to meet with Simon, haven't you? What can I do for you now? I was actually invited by Isidore, so I came to meet with him first and foremost, but now it turns out that... Yes. He's been murdered, yes. Looks like the murderer is always one step ahead of you, doesn't it? Same one that took Simon's life, too. At least that's the conclusion suggested by the information at my disposal. Same pattern, same signature. Were there any traces? Look, I haven't been there myself. I'm quite content with interrogating suspects, especially since we already know who we're after. You can join the hunt, by the way. I can describe his features. Who is it, then? You wouldn't believe it. His own son. The fellow came back after being away for quite a while. His father had sent him to study surgery when he was but a greenhorn. Quite a lot he's learnt, huh? Wandering scholar turned evil to the bone. All of that just to grab the inheritance. How do you figure that out? In all honesty, it's hard to explain that to an outsider like you. Do you believe in such a thing as clairvoyance, bachelor? Of course I do. Well, you should get to know my wife, then. Or better yet, those who have already had opportunities to witness the power of her prophecies. Former doubters, first and foremost. Rationalists. She's got something to say to you, by the way. So do you have rationalists in this town, except for me, that is? There are very good analysts in our town. Everyone is more or less superstitious here, except for one, Yulia Lyryacheva, perhaps a most level-headed and reasonable person. The only person to remain skeptical about Katerina's talents, too. Without a shadow of a doubt, she's her own picture of events. She always does. What is this Yulia? She came here with an engineering team when the town was being rebuilt. Did logistics or communications? Not sure. They said she's a true expert in her field. Smart, yes. A polymath. Then the team left, but she stayed behind. She has my respect, but not my fondness. I'll speak to this Yulia. The trammel. Right next door.
They say hitting hard is a good enough start.
Who are the people guarding Isidore's house? There's a volunteer patrolman. We usually keep around 20 of them, but I've increased the number recently to 150 or so. Why do you need so many? There's unrest in the termitiary. If I weren't certain that Isidore has been murdered by his own son, I would even consider the crime to be politically motivated. Isidore was preparing to take over the kin and become its leader, at least according to the information I have. What is the kin? The steppe people who work in the abattoir, many of the factory workmen, an ignorant patriarchal pile that hasn't changed much since the Stone Age. They look human enough, but if you look closer, they're actually just beasts. Believe me when I'm telling you that I'm not snobbish in the slightest, but there's a good reason to call them that. I see. I don't think you're aware of the fact that Isidore came to me last night just after he returned, and warned me that there were some ominous events ahead of us. It took that as an unofficial warning about his upcoming takeover. But, so, Isidore's Barak's son. I mean, he must be a brute to have... If it was him, and he was killed with, like, a talon that large, then Isidore's got to be a brute. I don't think you're even aware of the fact that Isidore... Right, yes. I took that as an unofficial warning about his upcoming takeover. So you took measures. Evidently. I've verbalized the patrols. I see what you're implying, Bachelor, but I'm not insane. Engineering Isidore's murder, as a matter of fact, a strong independent kin under Isidore's rule would have been way more useful to me. Why is that? Because that would weaken the power of the Honorable Vladislav Olgimsky, who's pocketed the economy of the whole town. He'd rather see the kin as a dumb and speechless herd, and come to think of it, well, I'm sure you understand where I'm going with this. Precisely what Georgie warned me about.
This Perspex is trying to prove his innocence. It's a no-go.
Nothing. Not anymore. That did not give me any answers as to how to, Is this it? Okay, this is
completely out of control.
Maybe I can go around the other side of the house and have a chat with his wife. Because she did want to speak with me. A lot of clairvoyant women in this town. Yep. Yo, what up?
I need morphine.
Oh. The only proper way for a duel to end is with the death of one of the fighters. That's what battles are supposed to be. Any conflict that has two sides inevitably turns into a battle of good and evil. A brutal philosophy. I'm not speaking metaphorically or metaphysically. I'm talking about a very particular battle. You are one of the combatants, Bachelor Denkovsky. Do you favor good or evil? I favor victory. Spoken like a true warrior. I truly wish you victory, Bachelor, even though I doubt there can be a victory at all in this battle. You're very kind.
Simon, to tame his impertinence, Earth had disgorged a monster from deep within its bowels.
Why am I brave? This fight is very unlikely to end in your favor. Does a clay and bone man-eater leave traces of the kind you've witnessed? It's only a spell, an illusion. They just prefer to see it this way. It makes it easier for them. So you know the details of my fight in it. What man-eater? I'm sorry to break it to you, but you will have to fight to the death, even if it were a metaphor. The ending is still unambiguous. If you don't find out what happened before nightfall, you will die. How do you know all this? I'm clairvoyant. What's the nature of your visions? This should not be your primary concern at the moment. You should concern yourself with the number of minutes you have left, and that number is dwindling. I don't throw predictions around. Others will tell you how often they come true. Do heed my words. Time will tell. Okay, so apparently we're going to get into a fight. Yo, man, what up? Once again, no one's asking us. Okay, so this guy will always fix my stuff, which is cool. I'm down with that. Let me check my quests. Today's quest. If this Yulia Lynch is genuinely capable of rational thought, then she is more astute than the majority of her contemporaries in this town. If there are those who would believe that if I am unable to pinpoint the murderer by nightfall, then I am destined to become the next victim. If my encounter with death is so inevitable, then I should prepare myself for it. As ludicrous as it may be, the thought sends a chill down my spine. Well, if that's the case, I did ask him for... I did have the option to ask him for a weapon, and I do have 5 bullets. So, hey man, you got a gun? Can I earn a weapon? And can I earn your favor and a weapon? Arm me, my good man.
They say hitting hard is a...
No, I've just finished distributing the remaining weapons to patrolmen sent to the Bone Stake lot. Rumor has it something's brewing there. The rabble are trying to catch some man-eater or Gog, but even if I had weapons, I wouldn't give any to you. Why in the world should I? Something's brewing. What exactly? They're going to lynch a woman, I think. There's a superstition circulating among the people, a myth of a man-eater from the steppe, a creature called the Shabnakadir. Supposedly, it can take a female form even though it's made up of all sorts of filth. Where are my patrolmen, though? Where's this lot? The Bone Stake lot is located somewhere among the back alleys right in the middle of Earth, between Tanner's and Skinner's districts. It used to be a huge dump, and before that the mob had used it for their barbaric gatherings. Some time ago, they reclaimed the dump and revived the tradition. What kind of dump? The dump's been there since the foundation of the termitary. Then the construction of the Skinners and hindquarters began, and the waste was still dumped in the lot. People grumbled at first, but they seemed to calm down, and now recently they just quietly cleaned it out. Where did the waste go? No idea. It's like they ate it up. They couldn't have buried it. It's against their rules. They protect the earth, the savages, but where did my patrolman disappear to? Should I maybe investigate it? You want to see the man-eater too? Don't. Those are just dirty rumors, most likely, or you'll find some poor victim of a frenzied mob there. That's what the patrolmen are for. And for a better description, you could look for a huge upright boulder standing there since the beginning of time, a Neolithic artifact. I think I've seen it already. So that's the abattoir. If he had meant the abattoir, he'd have just said it. Long facility, butchering room, the machine. It's around here somewhere. Sticky's house, Peter Stamatten's studio, Grace's lodge. Huh. I feel like maybe it's there. Bad Grief's lair, town theater, town hall. No, nope. It's none of that. Well, let's go talk to Yulia. Time permitting, I can go looking for the woman that this mob is intending to lynch. Or perhaps I will find the Shabnakadir itself. Yo man, what up? How ferocious Mother Nature is, for 'tis her wrath that has to be withstood. Oh friend, if only I could wet my whistle, I'd gladly give you anything on earth in exchange for a gulp of chilly spring water. How about me water? You'll have the water and I'll have bandages. So did I get anything or no? Apparently not. I just gave him my water for nothing. Well, shit. Now I understand how bartering works, in a manner of speaking. Let's drop a save real quick before I further embarrass myself. But now we understand a thing or two about the bartering in the economy. I give you a thing, you give me some things. No things to give, no give things. Yep, that's the place. Hello, ma'am. Okay, I don't have any clothing, but if I did, the women can mend it. When the wobbly guys are thirsty, and the guys with a cigarette can mend my weapons. Excuse me, ma'am.
It's so lonely here.
I seem to have lost any capacity for observation. My mind is out of tune. Things no longer add up. Before, I had no trouble forming a trustworthy tessellation out of the most imperceptible contingencies. Now I simply cannot get my head around it. Could it be that I'm dying? Yes, it definitely means you're about to die. That happens when people are tired. You probably haven't slept for a while, have you? Oh no, Herba Tuvian is in blossom, I grant you, but then it blooms every year. Every year the steppe is filled with stupefying vapors. The issue I'm having, however, has nothing to do with fatigue or perplexity. It's just that I've lost my ability to make distinctive events coincide. Everyone has that ability. You don't seem to understand what I'm saying. Let me elucidate. A single word someone utters may precipitate the birth of their own murderer. This line of philosophizing is barely an intellectual novelty and is particularly relevant in our neck of the woods. I sometimes feel like I could touch the notions of cause and effect with the tips of my fingers, but now I'm being tedious, I reckon. Not at all.
I'm afraid it's natural. Simon was doomed.
So you've traveled all the way here only to find that both people you wanted to see were brutally murdered. Is that how the story goes? I do hope your visit is not in any way related to these most unfortunate circumstances. Do you like Eva Yan? I have to find whoever it is that killed Isidore and Simon. I wanted to ask for your help. Sambrov told me you have a gift in all manner of investigative inquiry. I am certainly no better investigator than you. I never had a chance to search for a murderer before. The best I can offer is to fill in the blanks with whatever mysterious supernatural entity seems most fitting. Shabnak Adir is the simple man's scarecrow. I would have followed a different narrative. They said Simon locked himself up in the evening and consequently died in the morning inside the mansion in a chamber with some peculiar name. In this case, I would suggest that Simon was poisoned by the Canes. I would have thought, but I know their family all too well. Their mutual loyalty is only rivaled by their arrogance towards anyone who is not one of them. They hold the princely sage who stands at the head of their family in highest esteem. They believe that a single dishonorable act will tarnish their names for generations to come. I doubt any of them would have stooped to this, no matter whether they wanted to or not. No, yeah, they wouldn't kill the patriarch of the family. Poisoned? How did you arrive at this conclusion? I don't believe you understand what he died in focus really implies. Do you know what the Canes refer to as focus? You don't seem to grasp the semantics of the term. These are the Canes for you. These kinds of innuendos are their forte. What is the focus, then? The focus is anything but an abstraction, quite the opposite, in fact. It is governed by mathematically rigid regularities. You see, no one but the owner of a focus may get inside. This can only mean that Simon had brought the killer with him, or rather, within him, since no physical object may be brought into focus either. How do you know this? Who doesn't? The Canes are notoriously passionate about all manner of synthetic anomalies. They will never pass up the opportunity to devise a Kunststück that would allow them to warp space, challenge physics, and manipulate objects. Metaphysically, a focus can be compared to a camera oscura. Do note that the name is not unfitting. No, it is entirely impossible for someone to get inside. A curious conclusion, let us not so firmly assert. You're also not allowed to eat or drink, but that makes once a sex foul play in regards to Isidore's death. He'd been stabbed, after all. Stabbed does not even begin to describe it. Rubin told Lara that Isidore was slaughtered by some object resemblant of a humongous razor-sharp talon. What a riveting case. No wonder some people will start talking of steppe monsters made of bones. A claw-like object? Such was the topography of the wound, according to Rubin. Neither Lara nor me quite able to colloquialize a term like this. You should speak with him directly if you wish to know the details. Make haste if you want to get a hold of him. Rubin is eager to join Simon as soon as possible. No pun intended. Where is Rubin? Mourning his master, I think. They were very close. Did you investigate Isidore's house yet? Yes, but they won't let anyone in. Is that so? Well, this does introduce a different perspective. Did you say Isidore was the last person to meet Simon? The question is, who did he see before? The sun had not yet set when Isidore returned from the steppe. However, he came to Simon well after midnight. The question naturally arises, where did he spend the missing hours? How do you know all that? I think you still fail to grasp the entirety of your predicament. The rumors spread like wildfire here. One of the children saw Isidore come home. They were waiting by the entrance, eager to hear a step story or two. So the prosecution of Isidore's son is based on the testimony of a child? That is what Saburov claims. Was Isidore seen by Saburov by any chance? Uh. He was. He warned Sabro of an upcoming storm. Alright, let me suggest then that while he was in the steppe, he saw or learned something that he wanted to report to all three ruling families. In this case, either of the Olgimsky family should have been in his itinerary, especially since Barak was one of their own men. Really? Definitely. The Bull project from the abattoir to the railway is controlled by the Olgimsky family. If Isidore's discovery had anything to do at all with the kin, Isidore would have certainly relayed it to Vlad. So do make sure to pay a visit to the Lump. That's the name of the Olgimsky mansion. Another fitting name, wouldn't you agree? Thank you. What would I do without you? Okay, so go to the Lump and ask them what... because Isidore probably spoke to them, asked them what was going on. Oh, gracious. I do declare we're in the middle of a, what's the word I'm looking for? Like a, I want to say jigsaw puzzle, but that's not the phrase I'm looking for. We're in the middle of a, it's not a fetch quest. It's a scavenger hunt. But the thing that we're scavenging is important people. So I ain't gonna talk shit. This is an interesting way to meet all of the relevant actors in the town. But I gotta go take care of a thing. So I'll catch you later. Good night, everyone.